Right, let's get a move on. This looks suspicious, doesn't it? The glass from this display case's door is shattered all over the floor, and it looks like there's nothing on display inside either. Wait, actually I think there is something. What's this? The captain's hat. There are all kind of luxury name brand merchandise for sale in this display case. They're all lined up in just such a manner as to scream "buy me" to any passers-by. Stuffed toy, it's just like the one Miss Neil is holding. Oh god, it's on display here. They're relatively cheap, which explains why they're displayed so haphazardly.
How about it, Mr. Edgeworth? You know you want one too. They're great for when you're stressed.
Why do I envision stuffed animal abuse when she says that? I'm trying to look at these on the floor. Inside this display case is a row of lifesavers and life vests for sale.
We sell a lot of those when there's some kind of accident or something. But some people buy them even when nothing's going on. But how about it, Mr. Edgeworth? Care to buy one?
I sense that the shop is one shop away from being sued. What is stuff on the floor? I guess we're not paying attention to that. What are these hideous suitcases? What are these?
Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door. That's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it.
Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world you try then buy.
No way! But either way, it doesn't really matter.
True. Either way, why would anybody buy a suitcase after they fall into plane? Anyway.
Anyway, see that? Just look at all the Captain's Ugo heads painted on there. Cute company mascot, isn't it? Isn't he? They're painted on with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump out at you?
I can't even tell what that is. It's certainly making something jump inside my stomach.
I guess there's no fooling your refined taste. You look like you really wanted to get one. And I thought I was going to finally make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Right, that's done now. Never make me try to give you a sales pitch ever again, okay?
But I never showed any interest in it to begin with.
It really is pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? This suitcase was designed by Miss Rhoda.
Miss Nero designed this?
Yeah, it was a company-wide contest.
Well, it does have a very sharp design sense.
Sharp? Like stinky sharp cheddar, maybe. I really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with it. It's so blessed.
Miss Nero designed it, did she? It's definitely not what I would have expected. Ah!
You okay?
I'm fine. Please watch yourself, Miss Meal. Letting a suitcase freely roll around has got to be a safety violation.
Here, I'll put it back.
He didn't look inside the correct one, did he? I guess we're not. There is a wide selection of souvenirs for sale in these display cases.
You know what I'd suggest?
Sorry, but I have no intention of buying souvenirs on this trip.
Okay, then how about you buy something from me then, as a present?
I can't think of a single reason why I'd want to buy you anything.
But I've had my eye on that pendant for such a long time.
Try paying some attention to me when I ask you something, and then we'll talk. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. Oh wait, the flowers. Beautiful flowers and a beautiful arrangement. I feel cleansed just by looking at them.
Well, you're kind of stepping on a few of them, you know, Miss Edgeworth.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't know much about this shop, but you can ask me about whatever.
So, what do you think about what happened regarding this case?
I don't know. I guess I think you're the killer though, Mr. Edgeworth.
I can assure you that I'm here in the shop to prove just the opposite.
Yeah, but it was me that got you the permission to look around. You know, so don't forget that, okay?
How am I supposed to thank you properly if you insist on falling asleep?
Well, you know what would really show your thanks? You see that item for sale over there?
Sorry, but you're going to have to make do with my words of appreciation. Maybe I'm supposed to connect something then because I cannot find any other thing to investigate. Let's have a look. I mean, the hat's on there, but is this supposed to have a hat on it? I have no idea. Is it that? Okay. The hat probably used to be on this piggy bank's head, so let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from this display case. Does this mean that the killer broke the glass to get at it?
Really?
Don't tell me you don't know what things... What the hell? Oh, I read it right. Don't tell me you don't know what things go where in the shop.
Well, I don't. Miss Rudder is in charge of this place. So come on, how should I know anything?
I sense that further inspection of this display case is needed. Let's do that then. I was trying to look at it, but he didn't want to. But now he wants to all of a sudden. I'm interested until I've inspected every suspicious looking cranny. Am I supposed to do something? The glass in this door is broken. Perhaps it was the killer who broke it in order to take the piggy bank. It's a bit odd that the inside of the case is so devoid of glass shards. Plus, the glass broke rather cleanly.
Ah! What is it? I touched the glass and it cut my finger. It hurts, Mr. Edgeworth, it hurts.
Please tell me you can deal with such a minor cut on your own. GoU Airlines related books and lines on the shelf. The history of GoU Airlines, the future of GoU Airlines. The 7 wonders of GoU. Fight on, GoU Airlines. Working name, You Go Airlines. You Go You Heart. The titles make it very clear that they won't be making the top seller list anytime soon. I guess I just deduce that this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold. Probably this. What else is there? No.
Eureka! Eureka!
There is definitely something very unusual about this.
About what?
The killer had broken the glass to get at the Captain Ugo bank. There should be shards of glass inside the case itself.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess it'd be like that.
However, there's not a single piece of glass inside the display case.
No, there isn't.
Which means that the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over from the turbulence and right through the glass.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor.
I'm willing to bet that this hat was knocked off its head at that time too.
That's nice.
Which leads me to believe that the killer took the Captain Ugo bank from here after the turbulence. Take your power naps on your own time, Miss Meal, and listen to when I'm talking.
What?
Murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules this piggy bank out as the murder weapon.
So you mean the bank's not the real murder weapon? It's a fake?
Yes, at this point, that is a very real possibility.
But then, what if when the killer went to take Captain Ugo, he broke the glass by accident?
The display case is locked, so that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, but there's one person who could have.
Oh, and whom would that be?
Miss Rhoda, of course. I mean, she's the one in charge of this place, so she has the keys to everything.
Miss Rhoda Tenero, huh? Anything else? Is this the same man as the one portrayed by the statues around the elevator?
Yeah, that's the paperweight of the founder of Go Airlines, Mr. Ugo Hughes. On the bottom shelf, we have the cute one. The middle shelf is the realistic one. And on the top shelf, that's the floral version.
Floral? Are you sure about that? Let me guess. Just said the first thing that came to your mind, right? Looks like hit the bullseye. Looks like hit the bullseye. Okay. What am I supposed to look at now? Wait a minute. Yes, there's definitely something wrong here.
Ooh, what is with the sudden yelling?
Tell me, Miss Meal, don't you think there's something strange about these suitcases?
Oh, well, sure, they totally ooze strange, like the color and such.
That's not what I'm talking about. Now pay attention.
Ah, you're scaring me, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry. These suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper.
Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess they take after their creator.
Again, not what I mean, Miss Meal. Don't you find it unusual that these cases are the only thing undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind, I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting these suitcases myself. On closer inspection, they really are quite hideous.
I wonder how Miss Rhoda would react if she heard what she just said. What's wrong?
She makes a good point. It would be wise of me to watch what I say out loud. What's this? I suppose there's something that's not quite right. What is so unusual about this suitcase? Oh, this one's got like a little stoppy thingy.
Take that!
Yeah, I figured you thought the design was odd too.
Never said the design was odd.
Yeah.
Please don't give me that attitude. Ugh, I can't let her get me all riled up. Time to calmly take another look. Good hard look. I thought it was... Is it because there isn't one?
Take that!
Something very peculiar about these wheels. Oh, come on, I basically got that right.
Huh? As in...
As in, there are no stoppers in place on these. As stoppers, one would think that the turbulence would have sent him flying.
And
so, it's very likely that the suitcase was placed here after we hit that turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Can we open it? It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. And it's soaked with blood.
ah, it's blood.
It appears that this suitcase is very strongly tied to our murder after all.
So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder?
I believe it's pretty safe to say that the killer used this suitcase in some manner. Such as to move something, perhaps.
But aren't you just talking about the cloth then?
That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I believe the killer used this suitcase to transport is... body.
Take that!
Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it?
But...
In light of this, I'd say that Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from somewhere else, which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location.
So you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it?
Exactly. What is it?
Nothing, just that. I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he has allowed you ample time. He says that he'd appreciate it if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat.
I understand his sentiments, however, if I'm not allowed to complete my investigation, the crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist to be allowed to oversee the preservation of 2 sites. Under your supervision, of course.
If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way that I can, Mr. Edgeworth. Sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together.
I found proof that the real crime scene was not in the lounge, and I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Neal reminded me about Mr. Nero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. Okay, I should have just kept playing it last time. How long have I even been streaming? Okay. I know that once we had landed, I was supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Miss Tenero and Miss Neal, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Tenero in private. So I'm left wondering, just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation.
I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth.
Francisca, I thought she was still in Germany.
I go where I am needed, and wherever there are criminals to be caught.
Her name is Francisca von Karma, the daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are.
Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest.
What?
It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day. When a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal, have you no shame?
Wait, it has all been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim.
A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death.
Francisca, do you honestly believe that I killed a man?
I suppose I should reserve judgment until after I have investigated this for myself. I can put your arrest on hold until then.
That's as it should be.
Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for.
Well, I have my own creed, which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together?
I have to get going, the crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town.
Trust me, I have no intention to.
Set a gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Too slow.
Ah!
Listen up, I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up. Understand?
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him.
A simple yes or no, detective.
Ah, yes, sir, understood, sir. You just leave it to me.
Miles Edgeworth, if you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you excuse me.
Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you on... What? I'll get you through this. I have to admit I'm a bit curious as to what Francisca is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well, in that case I have a few questions for you. Let's see what this guy's doing. This child seems to be happily enjoying the sight of so many planes.
Wow, I'd love to take a run down that runway.
Oh, the youth of today. So much potential, yet so misguided. Wow. Looking from behind, I think I've seen this man somewhere before.
Soviet Russia world flags lunchboxes eat you. Sounded long. Oh, the creative powder's coming on now. It's over 9,000 lols. But my next linked movie is going to be the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo Tokyo versus the World Samurai Champion of Earth. It's gonna rock so many rock swords. What the hell? So, it's still samurais finally getting the movie.
What the hell? So, how's the initial investigation going? We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office. And we're taking statements now, sir. It sounds like Francisca. She was always good at quick responses to a case. I say she was a little too quick, sir. Oh, how so? I rushed on over as soon as I got the word of affair, sir. But somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking out orders at everyone. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew there'd been murder or something, and had come in advance to wait your flight's arrival. It is sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly and out of the blue. Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all of this. Miss Von Karma just kind of popped up out of the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Talking about chasing down a lead relating to a certain incident. New details? It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip. Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to a detective. Although, I do wonder if her case was anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's all the info I have, sir. You should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it's high time to resume my investigation. Starting talking to the people involved in this case afresh. Okay, where do I go then? Oh, alright. Back onto the plane. So, you must be the captain. Ah, yes I am, and who might you be? I'm the prodigy prosecutor Francisca Von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Ah, don't you dare, Captain, get in friendly with another woman. I'll never forgive you if you dare. What are you talking about? I only advise for you, my dear Cammy. I bet money on our dear captain to be much of a reputable person. Sure you don't want to ask the captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I'd like to leave that type of witness to Francisca and her whip. Ah! Oh God. Now see here. Ugh. Sorry, I'm sorry! How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be a criminal, I tell you. Mr. LeBlanc? Oh, I see you. Tell this man to stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't have even 1 second of wasteful time to spend. Have you finished taking a statement yet? Hold on, sir. I'd be not concerned if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. If you make a single scratch on my art, you will pay. Art? What sort of art? I love art. I love it so much, I will buy you. I'll buy your art, I'll buy you, and I'll buy your jewellery. Mr. LeBlanc's a bit of an art dealer, sir. He's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all kinds of arts. Folk costumes? Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat kind of looks like a piece of cloth. Mr. LeBlanc, could you please take a look at this for me? Oh, it's a Virginian cloth. And as I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose. Yes, of course. This fabric is so famous. Orders come from over the seas for more. Then this is the cargo you were talking about earlier? No. My cargo this time is much many gigantic. You, detective, when can I have my cargo moved? You can get your cargo back when you were done investigating, pal. The stubbornness of you police is no good. And it is not good that attendant refuses to exit the attendance room too. That's attendant. I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tamira. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She's been taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then they still have not come out. They have made no sign for coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her. Why is Miss Tamira's interview the only one that's taking so much time? Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenera. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room.
Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances.
I understand.
You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking, but you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth.
Alright then.
Let's complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion. You see that the crime was here in this very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect.
Likeliest suspect, Francisca.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute.
I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend?
Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'd have to break her line of logic fast. It would seem that your logic is not as perfect as you think it is. I got it wrong.
What is that supposed to mean?
This piece of evidence should show you exactly what I mean.
Oh yes, it clearly shows what you're thinking. But you're attempting to buy yourself time.
No, I knew I should have tried to pull a fast one.
Hold it!
So tell me, Francisca, do you know all there is to know about the crime scene?
I know all that I need to know in order to arrest you.
And nothing more?
Are you saying there is more than I need to know?
Ugh! Why'd you whip me, sir? Sorry, Scruffy, my hand must have slipped. Oh.
Sorry, Scruffy, my hand must have slipped.
It would appear that Francisca doesn't have all the facts of his case yet. The suitcase?
Objection!
Wow. I presented the cloth that was in the suitcase. It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all.
And what does that mean?
I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. The killer used his suitcase to move the victim's body, meaning that the real scene of the crime is not the lounge at all.
Objection! Now who's the one who's rashly jumping to conclusions?
Excuse me?
All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. It doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth.
I expected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem that I can't escape that easily.
You should know better than that. Yvonne Calmer is perfect in every way.
Ah, but did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point?
As if there is proof of that.
Where is the proof that the suitcase is moved around? There's the wheels.
I spilled grape juice in front of the elevator.
Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where is the evidence that proves the killer dragged the suitcase through here? It's here.
Take that!
This mark here, wouldn't you say that it looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels?
I suppose.
Further, there's also grape juice residue on the wheels of the suitcase. This means that the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here.
And I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else.
I'm glad you came to your senses.
Objection!
Not so fast. This doesn't put you in the clear. Not by a long shot. You prepared yourself and acquired a piggy bank before the plane hit that turbulence. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death. Then, while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and outflew the body from within the suitcase. No way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from, pretending to be the discoverer of the body.
It's bad bit of logic for something you thought of on the fly.
Just what are you insinuating?
But I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. exposed the flaws in her logic in one fell swoop. Jesus. He's getting a bit...
Objection!
The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared.
Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who stand in a courtroom must learn to master.
But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix?
A fake?
This Cat and Ugo piggy bank is just such a fake. It is not the real murder weapon.
What?
The time of when the bank was taken from the shop is important. And it was taken after the turbulence had occurred.
Then what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that?
I assume it was added after the murder when the killer fabricated his weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did three things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. Then the killer proceeded to pick the bank up from off the floor, then took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. The wallet was planted on my personage and in my pocket, to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Agby Hicks.
You there!
Yes, Mom?
Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found?
We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one, ma'am. Most of the items that could have been used were broken during the turbulence. The remaining items all tested negative for any traces of blood.
I see. Well, Miles Edgeworth, it appears your still tactics are at an end.
But it's possible that it's just hidden somewhere, sir.
If the criminal wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the body cloth.
Bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was inside that suitcase, it signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence. Which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murderer's personage, or is still at the real crime scene.
Objection!
There is one more possibility.
And what would that be?
That the piggy bank is in fact a real weapon.
But didn't we just...
Let me finish. The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence by opening the lock on the display case door. And it was at that time that the glass pane in the door was broken. I'd say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see, so that means the killer had the key to the display case.
And sister, the person you're talking about...
Not so fast, I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain and granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it is the sin of lying. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wish to speak with her.
Yes.
Very well, permission granted, but only if I can sit in on your interrogation. We understand each other.
I have no intention of interrogating her. But you are welcome to accompany me if you so wish.
Mrs. Mira is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move. So you're the one that poked around inside the plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's mentor was very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that?
Miss Tenero,
Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too?
can you please help us and shed some light on why you did what you did?
All right.
Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that?
Because I didn't think that I would be able to get his permission.
What do you mean?
The captain, he only has ears for a cami. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Meal. Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends.
In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges.
Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness.
Miss Tenero,
Is it? There's one more thing I'd like you to ask you. You were in Fly's shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well,
I sudden hesitation. Francisco seems to have struck a nerve.
all I did was go and check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After your visit to the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much to tell.
Miss Tenero claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. Is that all there is to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. The suitcase? Please take a look at this for me, Mr. Tenero. Miss Tenero.
Oh, that suitcase.
Yes, about that suitcase. You're the one who designed it, correct? And I think I figured something else out about it. The suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it?
There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there?
Would you please tell me more about the suitcase?
Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcases I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional I'm not supposed to care, but I really wanted to know. And I was glad to see that it was the last one there.
The last one there. So you're saying, Mr. Hero, that the suitcase in question was the last one?
Yes, they're just so popular they're practically flying off the shelves.
That's not exactly the impression I got.
The one in the shop is most definitely the last one.
Well, we're currently looking at that suitcase.
Really? Then I guess we sold all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one.
I didn't say anything about buying it.
Then say you buy it.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
But why? I think it's go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional.
Well, that is, how should I put this? It's hideous.
What?
Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issue with the suitcase isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining.
Remaining?
There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it.
2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like her story has generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there were only 1 suitcase left.
Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss Tenero, what is one of those suitcases doing here?
That's...
I thought you said there was only one left.
That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now.
She's used it for a long time? I think not. Miss Tenero, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me.
Excuse me?
I don't believe for a second that you've used this for a very long time. What proves that this hasn't been used for nearly as long as Miss Tenero says? That is so expensive, $1,200. Tell me, Miss Tenero, is it also your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcase?
Ah! What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about a suitcase?
Despite having faith in her design sense, the sale numbers made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Miss Tenero, I think I understand. I know what you are trying to hide. Now then, the suitcase was originally in... Seeing as how the price tag is still on the suitcase, one can only assume it was out on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought the suitcase was...
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tenero? I hate to say this, but the suitcase that you designed, it hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly this design that you poured your heart into was selling, and were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it for yourself. Isn't that right?
And the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really want to have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. thought that maybe I'd finally accomplish something.
But the suitcases didn't sell.
It's because of the design, isn't it? All because, as you put it, hideous.
I can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either.
We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there day in and out. So I decided to buy one for every flight I worked.
You buy one every single time you work a flight?
I see. So in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase.
This receipt is clearly timestamped to 5:40 a.m.
The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They're planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight.
Mr. Nero, where are the other suitcases?
They should all be down in the cargo hold. Then the suitcase the killer used.
Very well, I've come from the cargo hold.
And Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think that the killer used one of my suitcases to...
Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body.
Ah! How could they? Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be.
Mr. Nero, is there any other way to get the cargo hold other than the elevator?
The only other way is just through the door there.
And what about security?
That door is no special lock installed because, just to enter this room, you need a special keycard that only crew members have access to.
Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects.
I can't believe it!
Yes, Francisca?
Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Karman name.
What do you mean by that?
The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That alone tells the whole story.
Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their keycard.
Miles Edgeworth, you're proposing that the killer rode the elevator from your cargo hold, correct?
Yes, that's the only realistic possibility.
The other attendant, Miss Meal. I asked her earlier and she said she had this to say.
I still got information out on Miss Meal.
In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, a different keycard is required.
A different one?
Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Verona Tenero, and only you. Ah!
What? Is this true, Miss Tenero?
Yes, I keep the keycard in my locker at all times.
Could you please show us that card right now?
Yes, hold on. I don't believe it.
What's wrong?
The keycard, it's gone. Very clever. Pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you were just trying to hide it from us. You really thought this through. Wait, it's not like that. You can tell us about it when it's like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman.
Yes, Mom.
Mr. Edgeworth. What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face.
Francisco, I noticed you was the lead investigator on this case, however...
Hold it! Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this isn't a courtroom, that basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth?
I intend to do likewise.